All right. Well, shifting gears just a little bit. There have been a lot of there's been a big upswing recently in Christian quote unquote Christian movies that have that label on them. As far as um, facing the giants, fireproof, things like that. Um, how how can Christians who are wanting to, I guess, go into the world of film, how can they sort of avoid uh, ghettoization? Like, because I think that your average person's probably not going to go see a Fireproof or something at the Cineplex. So what can Christians do as far as going into the world of cinema in that case?
I One of the things I was the immediate thing I thought of as soon as you asked this question when we got the prompt from you was actually something your dad taught me, and like something your dad said like every summer I worked for him, and his thing was always, you know, just because we're, doing this in the name of Christ, just because we're doing this as a a Christian message, that does not give us the excuse to do it poorly or to put less effort into it. And his thing was like, if anything, that means we need to put more effort into it. We need to be less lazy with following through on it. And honestly, I think one of the ways that Christian films can break out of just being a niche thing and make it to more popular audiences is honestly just to make better movies. Some of the movies that have been even the more popular Christian movies, I haven't been impressed by them. It seems like we take shortcuts with the effort that we put into them and everything else because, well, this is the gospel, so surely the gospel will come through, no matter what. And of course I believe that. I believe the Holy Spirit will speak through, whatever junk we come up through, but I don't think that's an excuse to, to slack off, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the issue of quality is definitely a serious one. I can't speak to that as specifically because I have not seen the films you just described, and that is admittedly intentional. And a lot I've gotten feedback that was a good decision. But I think the interesting line we're drawing here is you've got Christian Christian directors making Christian movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess my encouragement to break out of that ghetto would be Christians become directors and make movies.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of, kind of generating movies that are geared toward a Christian market, you see a lot of those, they marketed those movies to churches.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they got their bank from. But then, you see so many directors out there who are Christians who are instilling or putting these gospel truths inside of mass market movies, and they're tremendous movies. I could name a whole bunch of them right now. That no one's going to look at that and say, "Oh, it's a Christian movie," and therefore avoid it. But they're being taught truths that are coming from that same place. So that's the message that I like.
Just to follow up on that, you mentioned Lord of the Rings earlier as far as a story. Tolkien obviously was a Christian, but he didn't set out to write a Christian book with Lord of the Rings. He set out to write a book that was full of Christian truth, but it reached out to, I mean, everybody from all sorts of different walks of life has read Lord of the Rings, and it's impacted them in a different way.